One more extraordinary thing about this episode is that it returns us to the start, to the frigid grounds, the Wall, Winterfell, and House Distinct, our entryway into the universe of ice and fire. It was perfect to see the Starks once more, as we see Cregan Obvious, Tom Taylor, clear up for his visitor, Jacurus Valerian, Harry Collett. That obligation is penance, more prominent than all else, even blood. He focuses on that their steadfastness has not changed in light of the fact that they are consistent with their promise. I want to believe that we see a greater amount of Winterfell, or if nothing else of House Distinct, in the approaching episodes. Perhaps some superb direwolves battling close by the dark? Then again, the episode moves us among highly contrasting and the schemes that are being woven between men. While we see Daemon, Matt Smith, needing Rhaenys, Eve Best, to go along with him to kill the winged serpent Vigar, and the committee starts to count the mythical beasts accessible to them, we find in Ruler's arrival that in any event, Lord Aegon needs to consume the armadas that are blockading them with winged serpents, and yet the way in which the two ladies concerned, Rhaenyra and Alicent, are the ones in particular who acknowledge that it is so perilous to include winged serpents in this conflict, and they attempt until the last snapshots of the episode to make it a final retreat for war, and attempt any remaining potential techniques before that. The main disadvantage to this is that it makes the episode a piece slow, with little activity, particularly in the principal half, where we become mixed up in the exchange, conversations, and making arrangements for the approaching conflict. To such an extent that all through the episode, we see Rhaenyra, Emma Darcy, totally quiet, attempting to follow her child's process, looking for his remaining parts, or any proof that he is truly dead, and she possibly articulates 3 words during the whole episode when she is certain that her little one is truly dead. I need Aemond Targaryen. These are the main words she expresses in the episode. No. She didn't go off the deep end and ride her mythical serpent and go set everybody ablaze, except she kept her self-restraint and just needed retribution on Aemond, who was the justification for his demise. I proclaim from here onward that I am on the blacks, not to say here that all greens are awful and all blacks are great-hearted. However, the explanation is only that since we understand what occurred in the background and that Rhaenyra ought to be the genuine successor, I'm her ally. Yet it merits conceding that the two sides have their defenses, and assuming we see them according to their point of view, we will be persuaded by them, in spite of the fact that Alicent has done numerous terrible things that occasionally go against a portion of her convictions, like her relationship with Sir Dedicate Call, Fabian Frankel, after she faulted Rhaenyra for doing likewise. She is by and large an individual with great thought processes and makes a solid attempt not to hurt her close buddy and stepdaughter, whom she cherishes definitely. And in the event that she had not been persuaded that Viserys was discussing her child Aegon, and not Aegon the Vanquisher, she presumably could never have confronted Rhaenyra. She even lights a flame for the spirit of Lucerys, Elio Greenholt. That scene that cuts between Alicent lighting candles for the dead and Rhaenyra and her family consuming Lucerys's possessions as a sort of definite goodbye was a superb touch to show the aggravation that goes through everybody. Indeed, even Aegon, Tom Glyn Carney, for all his aloofness, infrequently attempts to make the best decision. At the point when an unfortunate herder requests the arrival of his dairy cattle that the crown has taken, Aegon vows to return them before his right hand, and Grandad, Otto Hightower, expert Evans, comes to him to advise him that they need the cows for the mythical serpents. Furthermore, presently we come to the main scene of the episode, the homicide of poor Jaehaerys. It was vital to get the scene right. All things considered, we are accustomed to stunning scenes from the universe of ice and fire, as Ned Obvious being executed, the Red Wedding, etc., so place of the mythical beast expected to do that scene well to satisfy the series' principles. Fortunately, the episode did precisely that, though another way than the books. To discuss the distinctions between the book and the show, it merits recalling above all else that George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood was composed as a set of experiences book that chronicled the ascent and fall of House Targaryen, and was created by Westeros history specialists who had different points of view on every occasion, with many inquiries and holes they couldn't fill. While the show is entrusted with let the genuine occasions know that occurred, and all that we see on screen ought to be what truly occurred, there are a few distinctions from the source material. In the series, Daemon takes Rhaenyra's requests, in a real sense, and quickly heads to Ruler's arrival, where he meets two characters. A previous City Watch referred to the books as Blood, and a rodent tracker referred to the books as Cheddar. However, they are not named in the series. They get the request, kill Aemond, and when they inquire as to whether they can't find him, we don't hear his response. Yet it turns out he expresses, child for child. Thus the episode goes on its last venture. The two slip into the castle and rise to the imperial family's chambers. Yet when they can't find Aemond, they run into Sovereign Helena, through Sabon, and her twins, her child Jaehaerys, and her little girl Jaehaera. As Daemon requests a child, Helena asks which one is the kid. Shockingly, Helena focuses to the kid, and Cheddar says she's coming clean. They serenely stroll over to the resting youngster and cut his throat. While we don't see the violence, we hear the sound of it with difficult lucidity. Helena rapidly hurries to her dozing little girl in the other bed, gets her, and surges out of the space to her mom's room, who we see for the subsequent time with Sir Dedicate. They killed the kid, she tells her mom, as though he wasn't there, affirming to anybody who questioned that she was alluding to her girl that she was coming clean. However, where the books vary is that in that scene, Aegon has proactively fathered 3 kids, the 6-year-old twins and a 2-year-old named Maelor. At the point when Blood and Cheddar show up, they give her the decision of which of her 2 children to kill. After some wavering, she focuses to her most youthful child Maelor, maybe accepting he is as yet youthful and won't be apprehensive, or to save the line, since Jaehaerys is Aegon's successor. Yet, rather than killing Maelor, Blood and Cheddar pursue Jaehaerys and kill him. Thus, Helena goes during that time without having the option to look at Maelor without flinching once more. In any case, paying little mind to how this episode goes, we ought to focus harder on Helena, who appears to have a precognitive capacity of some sort or another, as she said toward the start of the episode that she feared rodents, and toward the finish of the episode it was the rodent catcher who murdered her child. We don't have any idea how things will go straight away, yet maybe Alicent will develop nearer to her little girl now that her children are progressively far off from her. Indeed, war is most certainly the main way since the two sides have lost a blameless kid, and notwithstanding Alicent and Rhaenyra's endeavors to end the contention calmly, the dance of the shoot mythical beasts has now started.